accusing her ex-boyfriend of assault has liberated Aaliyah Taylor.
It took me a while to fully process it because it's been going on for so long. It's just, I'm finally feeling like that freeing feeling, like I don't have to feel so nervous,
Then Seahawk Chad Wheeler was arrested in January of 2021. Court documents allege he choked and beat Taylor during a manic episode inside a Kent apartment building.
That night, he just decided to kind of take his rage out.
According to court records, officers found Taylor covered in blood and her left arm limp against her body, reportedly telling police she thought she'd already died. Taylor survived only to see her name released in tabloids and across social media.
I was just like, oh, okay, so this is out. And I'm like, okay, how do I want to handle this? Do I want to hide away and let this go under the rug, then he gets away with it, and then other people are also hurt? Or do I want to just step up?
The court process took nearly 3 years. Thursday, a judge found Wheeler guilty of both first and second-degree assault. He faces a minimum of 5 years in prison.
I think it's sometimes a bit difficult, especially when holding someone accountable. A person of power, someone popular like that in the NFL, holding them accountable, you can have a lot of pressures on you. So I say first and foremost, be present with how you feel. Don't feel guilty. Don't be too mindful of what everyone else's feelings are about the situation. Be present with yourself.
Taylor sees that night in Kent as a turning point in her life. Today, she's thriving as a model, works in the medical field, and perhaps most importantly, is an advocate for domestic violence survivors.
I just want to break the cycle. I come from a long line of women that have dealt with domestic violence, and I just feel like it just needs to end.
Wheeler was released by the Seahawks the day after his arrest in 2021. The organization back then saying they were, quote, saddened by the details emerging around the case and strongly condemned this act of domestic violence and urged Wheeler to get the help he needs. And urged Wheeler to get the help he needs.
All the praises and the honor goes to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rechaha Quadash. And double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of Great Millstone. Honors as well to you brethren, you fellow believers of this faith, you supporters, even you few sisters, and shalom to the elect. So anyway, I want to touch on this video. I'll try to make it quick. This video was sent to me by Judah Tribe. The brother sent me this video, this clip. It went somewhere else where another Jake was doing the interview, but I went and found a news article. And I'll say Eve. When I say Eve, you look at this woman and you can see who we're talking about, right? Us as Israelites in the know knows, okay? But when you see this man, then we can see that you're talking about that. So I'll refer things to lighter and darker. Let me just say that. So we're in a situation, this is a situation, Salakia, this is a situation where the Eve has decided to go along with the societal rules, or let me say what they call the trend, and say, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to be with that or be with this, right? Thinking in success. Now I got to say, because a lot of Christians, they come against me when I do videos like this, when I blame white Jesus. White Jesus is the art that imitates life and what people believes is the Savior. Now, granted, we'll say that some of our people may look like this guy. I'm not saying that either. But what we're saying in this society, we see a situation where Eve has become more comfortable in that situation. But if it's vice versa, right, that Jake, when we say Jake, we'll say the so-called darker man. When the Jake would not have a chance, no matter what woman was sitting up there. This man only got 81 months. He never even got charged with attempted murder. Now you heard him say, if you read the whole article, he pretty much broke her arm, bloodied her face, punctured things, did all kinds of stuff. She damn near died. But you know what the news said? We hope that he gets help. You know why they're doing that? Because that's what's being pushed. If a lot of these stories go out, That's going to deter Eve from following down that agenda that they want. That's what that's what I see. So I got to get some scriptures anyway before I go back. Jeremiah 4:30. And when thou art spoiled, what will thou do? Though thou clothest thyself with crimson, though thou deckest thee with the ornaments of gold, just like this Cynthia G. Where you at, Cynthia G? Where you at? And we could pull multiple stories up like this. But you know what happens? Stephen A. Smith, the ESPN, Kendrick Perkins, all the so-called darker people that's sitting up on the podium, right? The Charles Barkleys and the Shaquille O'Neals, all those guys. I'm just saying ESPN, Stephen A. Smith, and all of them, they won't bring this up. But he's appalled by Michael Vick in the dog fights. You see where that's go? They have more cares for dogs, right, than they do you Jakes. That's what it boils down to. If this was a Jake, he'd be gone. He'd have got a life sentence or 20 years, right? He would have been charged of attempted murder. But here, all he needs to do is get some help that he needs. They say the same thing about Eve when Eve does it. She just needs some help. There was a story where a couple of those Eves carjacked a man, crashed his car, took his money, and they tried to help him and say they can be saved. But you know who they not saving? Us. Anyway, it says, though thou rentest thy face with paintings, Cynthia G., in vain shalt thou make thyself fair, thy lovers will despise thee and seek thy life. For I heard a voice as of a woman in travail, and the anguish of her that bringeth forth her first child. See, now when we do these videos, we have different content because we link everything with the Bible, right? Now, it's kind of crazy because when we bring out information, they charge it with that particular speech. But when they do it, and all the stuff that they do, there's none of that, goes to them. You got Eve all on a comment board or all over social media talking about what they're going to do to their so-called black husbands and how they hate them and don't like them and how they use them and mistreat them and say they don't need them. This also proves no such thing as equality, but this is what they do. Nope. Videos stay up. Anyway, for I have heard a voice as a woman in travail and anguish of her that bringeth forth her first child, the voice of the daughter of Zion, that bewaileth herself, that spreadeth her hands, and saying, woe is me now, for my soul is wearieth because of murderers. Right? Because of murderers. So, they can do what they want to do to try to sweep it under the rug. They had a whole saying in the world when I was younger. You could take the inn out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of the inn. That's what it was saying. So these high profile, or let me say lighter people, when they get a dose of Eve, they crack. That's what it is. A Jake might not have done that. He'd have been like, I'm out. But because of the mindset that you're supposed to worship me and who I am as a superstar and of what I look like, they crack. They can't handle that pressure of Eve putting it on them. Now, the black conscious community teaches no matter who Eve messed with, that child is still black. And that was the falsified doctrine that's being pushed, and it's ridiculous calling them gods. But yet they themselves, as you see, don't take care or love their gods. Brother Polite has left his gods and went and got locked up for messing with the God's daughter. The goddaughter. The goddaughter, right? And Shaka Amos, allegedly, he hasn't been charged. She came out and said it, that he messing with his God's daughter. You see? The sickness of the black conscious community and the destruction of our people, along with that all comes through that black consciousness, come through Roman Catholicism too, with St. Francis. By the way, I did a video on that. So when you go to the store and when you go to church, you see the white Jesus, this becomes your God. So you can see the example of Eve. When your grandma gives you the money and you're a little girl and you see "In God We Trust," and you see that picture on there, yeah, it's playing on your spirit, right? This is why you can have 30 drug dealers standing on a corner and 2 cops roll up and they all disperse and run. And all of them got guns on them. Yeah. That's something what white Jesus and white God has done for the people, right? So let's go into some facts on this. Acts 3:25. Ye are the children of the prophets and of the covenant which God had made with our fathers, saying unto Abraham, and in thy seed shall all the kindreds of the earth be blessed. Right? So it says this. Wait a minute. Is Eve thinking that she can go through and bless all the kindreds of the earth? Right? Well, maybe it was the Virgin Mary that they know is a so-called black woman, but they put her up as the black woman. But then when it comes to the Virgin Mary being shown as a white girl, a white woman, right? I mean, with Jesus sitting on her lap, all of a sudden the painting turns to white. Now it's a white Jesus and a white Mary. But when it comes to the black Virgin Mary picture that they have in the Catholic Church, it's just her. Well, wait a minute. Don't she have the father too? Right? Don't she have a husband? Come on, man. What about Joseph? That's crazy. They'll show the Virgin Mary, a white woman with a white baby. But then you'll see the Virgin Mary just as the black woman, but it doesn't have a black baby. I don't know, man. We're not ignorant of the designs. But anyway, let's go into this word kindred and see who this is talking about. Let's go to seed first. And in thy seed shall all the kindreds of the earth be blessed. That word seed goes back to its different definitions for seed, like plants and germinates and all that, which is, from the male source. It says semen, viral, a product of semen, seed, children, offspring, progeny, a tribe. Give the force of life, giving power. So we see here it's the seed, the semen, swimmers. That's why you call it, a man goes out to sea and he's in the ocean, he's out to sea. They call him a seaman. They just spell a word. They just put an A after the S-E, right? Whatsoever possess vital force of giving power, giving life. Wait a minute. This proves that it's the man. Numbers 1:18. That's what that proves. So let's go to kindreds. And then I see all the kindreds of the earth shall be blessed. Lineage running back to some progenitor, ancestry, or tribe. So we can see it's all the lineage of the Father. It says the Israelites was distributed into 12 tribes, descending from one of the 12 sons of Jacob. These were divided into families, and which were divided into houses. So we can see now the way this society has gone. Isaiah 29:16 has been turned upside down. So we got more. Patriarch. When you go to the root word of it, wait a minute, where's this? I just happened to click on this. The Strong's definition, G3962. See what it says. Generator or male ancestor. That's what it says. Ancestor, father, forefathers, not foremothers, founders of a nation. Now, why would they do all that? Why are they pushing total opposite of this? Because the super high ones, elitists, they don't believe that. And when you look at their family lineage and what they do, they keep that strict. No, they don't want you doing it. So they understand with feminism destroys you, Eves. It doesn't give you anybody to lead. They push the narrative that being with someone, a partner, makes you separate, and they separate it by you have your own rights, you have your own looks, you have your own way. When really, how the hell do you have your own way if you're one? You see what I'm saying? There's one that's in the head of that flesh. When a young woman in ancient times got married at 13, 14, 12, 13, 14, scientists proved that their brains are not developed. Well, the whole point of that is you're supposed to grow with the partner you're with. So you'll develop in his spirit and be with him. See, we shouldn't have to say one is over the other. That should be well known. But in this society, you got to say, well, the equality, and man is over, woman is over man, or they have their own separateness. They have their own separate rights. Where's that? This is crazy how so out of order everything is, man. 1 Corinthians 11 says, man is not of the woman, but the woman was created for the man. This is crazy. It's so crazy that the natural order of things, of how things are supposed to be, is totally gone, right? Let's get this real quick. I'm going to just read this real quick and close. Sirach 12:10, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so of his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped the looking glass. And thou shalt grow, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee. What's up with this lady, misdirected, I believe her name. Something directed. She's the feminist Israelite that all she has stories is about what white woman has done to so-called dark men. Light woman has done to dark men. That's it. She won't show this either. So you can see how strong what we have to deal with is Jake. We not only got to deal with the feminism of society, but you got to deal with feminism of your own and others. So it surrounds us the worst. It's best not to be in that situation. Anyway, that's all I have on that. Shalom.